Hello. Welcome, one and all. Welcome to my stream. I am Paladin Ashe, and I am here to stream for you again. And welcome once again by the fireside. Today we're getting back into it with Foundation because it was a really enjoyable stream last time. Really chill, really just good for the general engagement and all that. Let me just get it set up. I'll also be intermittently muted because I'm snacking on fries. Okay, well. Damn, that's squished in there. Hmm. No, I don't want to. I don't want to. No, no. Oh, right. I can't improve shit without a bailiff. I need a bailiff's office. I don't have the tech for a bailiff. How many of those I got? Oh, wow. First, don't really need to be more. Oh, shoot. One sec. The power is of the ability to just walk around the house. And this game's so chill, you can just do that. I don't. You clearly reached it just fine, bitch. Happiness, job learning, trade price. Keeps everybody happy through, emotional handouts and some shit like that. Okay. Select mandate. Improve. $50 below. Housing insufficient. That's raw ass horse shit. All right, let's fix that. Where is it? Do. Working on it. Working on it. Housing density will be increased. So, fun thing about this is that technically you can go about setting a fortification. Okay, I'm skipping over some things. So, what I'm trying to do is increase housing density. That came along a little bit later in development for this game, but the general gist of it is that if a house is set up to be nicely protected, with like watchtowers or a wall around the area, then you can set up people to patrol the area. And once the area is considered patrolled to a certain point, the structures will actually increase in size and increase in capability to contain people. So currently, I'm building watchtowers because I don't want to build a wall around this for a while. The problem with walls is that they are very much you have to set them up and then leave them. If you build a wall at this juncture, which I'm not even sure I have the tech. I have the tech. Village fortifications, but the problem is I only have light fortification. So it'll be like wooden palisades. And that's convenient at the start, but the problem is once you want to replace it, there's no upgrade this button. There's no upgrade this and don't consider everything not fortified. If you break that wall before it has anything around it to consider it fully heavily fortified, everything within that area suddenly is no longer considered fortified and now will basically slated to be downsized. And it's massively inconvenient, massively annoying. So I try to avoid it wherever fucking possible. Oh yeah, stone. Okay, I've got that. Do I got it on the make? No, I don't. I'm surprised. How are those berries working? I've got one. Got two. Oh. Ba 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 ba. I'm thinking I'm going to expand out into that area at some point, and that's going to be where I build my first you. Now you're getting into the stone. Okay, that's sold reasonably. Oh, where's my granary? Built that over here. Hey, yay. They're going. They're doing their thing. Well, that's set up. Why are my berry resources so low? Is it because there's not very many berry bushes within the bounds of my territory? That would be hot ass. Speed things up. I often forget when I'm down to like 1 time speed. Yeah, you can generate the map randomly and then also alter certain features as you're generating it. Though I had to restart my map last time I was playing about an hour into the stream because I realized I was on like a promontory or something like that. Like a large jut of land with no immediate like connection to the ground. And if you see this little person walking along here with the person plus sign, that's a colony or a colonist. You get those like at fixed intervals and based off of like how much space you got, how like happy people are and how many employed there are. So like if everybody's employed and there's lots of space, you'll get lots of people. But I wasn't getting any, and it took me a while to realize the reason I wasn't getting any is because they were walking across the map in my general vicinity and then being like, can't get up to you, bye. It was so frustrating. Okay. This is getting built. Slowly. Need more builders. Presently, I'm trying to build up a watch post because I need more housing, but I don't have a whole lot of space right now. So if I build up a watch post, I can shove a bunch of people into these watch towers and then have patrollers go about. And that'll allow the city to be like, we can increase density because we're real safe. Yeah, sure. Or not. That's kind of half built. Okay, sweet. More lumberjacks. Housing inefficient. Yeah, I get that. And I get that that's a rising crisis. The problem is I can do nothing to help you. Mm-hmm. Hey, Jonka. Not a lot. Just building a colony. Improve trade with Trotsbury. That's going to be a bit of a while before I improve that one. I love how random my train of thought is. You show up, Chonka, and suddenly I'm like, I wonder if somebody's ever made a Kajenka of a deep dish pizza. What would that even look like? A Kajenka is kind of like, you know those like images you see sometimes of like a humanized version of say like a Pokemon or Bowser, where it's like basically the human version of them with like mild traits that like associate them. That's basically what a Kajenka is. Yeah, like that game on Steam, Date Everything, is based off of that pretense of like a Kajenka of all the household objects. Never played that game, so though some of the eye candy is not half bad. It is kind of hilarious how there's like this one character in that who's like an eldritch abomination, and then you romance him and he stops being an eldritch abomination. And I only know about this because somebody was like, why would you do that? Why would he basically make a hot eldritch abomination and then make them a fucking twunk? Not that the game lacked for you know, a lot of Gashinka tanks. Need more people. I need at least 5, so I'm going to be dedicating a lot of people to this. Were they all waifus, or were some of them actually like, beefy guys? Because I find that the tendency is to make it follows the whole like giving like ships and things like feminine pronouns and whatnot. So like I understand the tendency to waifuize things like tanks and whatnot, but I wonder how many of them weren't. Weak coverage. I mean, it'll do until, how many are these? Just 2. Tanks do have genders for World War I. But what about all the other wars? Sure. Give me that fat edict. Refund. Okay, there we go. That'll make things cheaper. Oh! Trade price, labor buildings, newcomer. I'm going to take that one. Okay, that's partial coverage. Well, at least they're not starving. Huh. That's such an odd and very specific distinction of classification. Cannons mean mean males, but machine guns mean females. And then afterwards, kind of like vaguely because of just hermaphroditic, because how many people? It's just 2. Okay. I guess I can work with that. Well, you look like you've got a trade mission for me. Sure, at a later date. I actually don't care for the monarchy side of this game. It's an option, but it's kind of lame. Making mad money or building monasteries is more fun. It's that old thing in like the Air Force where a guy will like paint his personal waifu on the side of his jet. It used to be magazine models. Nowadays, it's genuine waifus. Okay, we're starting to actually get some coverage here. That would be hilarious. Was that the kind of jet that fucking Lancelot took over? I can't remember too, or I can't remember which one, but like, that sequence in fucking Fate Zero where he basically commandeers one of the JSDF's personal jets. Yeah, that's right. That's right, boy. Switch over. Funny because his NP in Fate Grand Order is literally to whip out the fucking main gun from that and shoot the enemy. I used to use him in my farming team, but I eventually replaced him with Summer Musashi and Morgan Le Fay. And oftentimes Fran. Mostly because Fran's cheaper to field and actually no, not oftentimes Fran. Fran used to be who I fielded, but then I upgraded Musashi more. Reason being is because they do AoE damage out the ass, and if I slap a NP charge on Musashi and then hit her with the crit up nitro for boosting her charge up to 100% at the start using waiver, I can lead with like a noble phantasm, wipe out the first team, then follow it with the next team with my Morgan Le Fay, and if I can get a support Morgan Le Fay, the third one is cleared out by the third Morgan Le Fay. Okay. I got enough for one. It's going to be labor building upkeep. don't got that one, but okay. I never really tax windmills. I don't ever have enough of them to justify it. Yeah, boy. More population density means more fat, dicky money. Yeah, be fucking sad. I don't care. I make more money off of you hoes this way. And if I'm making more money, I could build you a fucking church. Take me to church. The church. $126 from home. Girl, you got shafted. Where would be a good place to place a church? Maybe here? Based gotcha choice. I can't say I'm widely versed in gotcha. I remember trying out a couple. One was Korean that I just couldn't stand. It was called Destiny Child. No association with the band. The plot was weird. The main character was a practice in fucking femdom humiliation. It was basically a twink who, in the art style of the game, like, okay, the art style of the game. Okay, so, okay. Destiny Child's basic plot is the seat of the Lord of Hell is sitting empty, and people are competing over it. And your character is a demon who moved to Earth to just live a normal ass life. They might have. Honestly, that wouldn't surprise me. But they must have upgraded with Nikkei, because whereas Nikkei is that's the jiggling asses one, right? Yeah, I can appreciate that. Plus, also, I've heard that the story is hilariously dark for a lot of the characters. Like, it'll be like, jiggly asses. Oh, I just want senpai to love me and notice me, they say as they die, without their senpai ever knowing that they loved them and knew them. But anyways, so your character signs an updated bill for their utilities, only to realize it was a contract to compete for the throne of Satan, basically. And this cat girl demon chick shows up and is just like, "You're my master, even if you suck." And he's like, "We just met and you're insulting me." And she's like, "Yes, but you can't help it that you suck." And boy, do all of the women treat him that way. Literally unprompted. It's genuinely uncomfortable. It is somebody's fetish. It is obviously somebody's fetish, and it was not my thing. But that's not even the thing that I hate about it the most. The thing that I dislike is that it genuinely, like, has terrible fucking character design orientation. Like, you will literally have, you know, they're called your child, air quotes, and they're kind of like a person's emotional trauma taken from them and formed into a servant. And there'll be things like Eve as an Adam and Eve, or fucking Jeanne d'Arc. But if memory serves, Jeanne d'Arc was like a fucking maid, or like a nursemaid or something like that with a syringe. Like, there were a lot of like reused names from history and fiction, and none of them matched their title. And each of them fucking, like, you know, shat all over the main character for like not being adequate for their taste. It was so awkward. And then the art style is literally all the characters kind of like gyrating their hips back and forth, almost like slower and more sensually than the Funak Tun video, or whatever it's called. You know, the one with the chick from Animal Crossing. And the main character does this too, despite not being a female character. He's a twink who's kind of just gyrating his hips, and his mouth is always held agape, like he's waiting for a dick to be stuffed into it. I am dead fucking serious. And like, look, I'm a horny motherfucker, but that was uncomfortable to look at. It was just like an unpleasant art style all around. Ba 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 ba. Yeah, sure, influence. Everybody's a little bit depressed. Let's improve things by... Fuck it. Let's build a church over here. Oh. Where is it? There it is. I mean, custom building is kind of a feature of this game. I'm not the most creative with it. I have a tendency to like phone it in past a certain point. Let's make an unhappy little cemetery. There we go. Just a little bit more. Yeah, this is why I generally don't care for the water side slots. Because a huge chunk of it is going to be dedicated to water, and you get squashed into a tiny area. Ugh. I mean, you can, but you also need like at least some trees to have lumber. So I dedicate this area to like work for like lumber, stone, and whatnot. This space opened up. That's actually making good progress. Doesn't help that I have a reforesting house. It's right here. Called the Forester Camp. But yeah, it doesn't help that a lot of my resources are tied up in upgrading all of the houses in the area. You don't really have a control over which houses upgrade. Once a house has the opportunity to upgrade and it's desired by the AI to upgrade it, it will be upgraded, which means that resources will be tied up in upgrading it. Let's see. That's already mostly built. I'm going to allot a priest for it. What's your name? Okay, there we go. Go on your way, gas station dick pills. What's your name? Doesn't matter. So fun fact, this game doesn't really have NPC death. Not like, say, Banished or Farthest Frontier, which I should play on stream because they're so fucking hilarious. Like, okay, this game's hilarious sometimes because you'll literally set up like all the resources for them to thrive and they'll be the biggest bitch made cunts about it to the point that they'll be like, I need a house, and I'll be like, house spending tribe, there are houses all around you, what are you doing? You're probably thinking, what am I referencing with that? The Last Airbender movie. Literally the Earth Nation sequence. Where it's like, Earth Nation tribe, there's stone all around you, what are you doing? God, that was such an awful fucking, like, adaptation. It's a movie that's so awful at its adaptation, I don't even count it as like a successful movie. Like, I remember being asked by Bo which was worse, the fucking Pearl Harbor movie or The Last Airbender. And I list Pearl Harbor because The Last Airbender is literally like a vignette done shittily of various highlights of the series. It's barely a movie. Whereas like Pearl Harbor is intended as a movie and it is a slog to go through. Your mother took you to see that movie? I'm so sorry. But yeah, like, genuinely, I reference that every so often when I'm playing games like this where like my people are like, we're starving, and I'm like, there's food all around you, shut up. But then you get shit like Banished or Farthest Frontier, Banished is especially hilarious for this, where the AI will sometimes just fuck you. I remember one time setting up a village for like a bunch of new people who'd come to the to me, and then all of a sudden the game's like, so and so just died, other person just died, other person just died, other person just died, other person just died, and I'd find out why. The reason was because I kind of jammed in a bunch of people to work at one location that was across the map from where they were where those new people were living. So of course those new people now got that job across the map from where they lived. And because the AI doesn't just balance shit for you, but doesn't let you know that it's not balancing anything for you, they just walked across the map until they died of exposure. Let's see, when we got out and got into the car, my mother looked at me and said, "You can swear once." I said, "That was the worst fucking movie ever." Yay! Okay, now everybody's getting serviced. I mean, they're getting service. But I'm also suffering from a berry shortage for some reason. This is not a very great day. That might be why I'm suffering from a berry shortage. There isn't really a whole lot of storage for it. Lots of space now. I'm thinking, let's see. Then 2 years later, something would replace that movie. My dad took me to see the Red Dawn remake. I would like to clarify my dad is usually calm, but when we got in the car, I hear words that were probably never uttered in years. I'm guessing he really liked Red Dawn and hated the remake. Let's place hunting lodge here. Let's place a I always find that weird. It's like doesn't go to the movies after that. It's like, as somebody who kind of occasionally went to the movies with my family, with my mom, with some friends growing up, it's one of those things that's just kind of fun to do, even if like the movie you're going to was picked out of a hat. Like Bo has this one story centered around his family, where a family member never went to the movies again because he saw Deliverance in theater. And for EA's understanding, Deliverance is that movie where a trio, I want to say, of like city-born dudes go on a hunting trip or a camping trip to bumblefuck America, and while there they get attacked and one gets TOS violated from behind by a hillbilly. If you ever hear like if you ever hear at a point in like anything American where somebody's gone into like the backwoods somewheres and then a twangy instrument starts playing a song that goes yeah, so that's a straight reference to Deliverance. Because there's a sequence at one point where like one of the dudes has like a jam session with this clearly heavily inbred child who's just sitting there strumming a banjo. It's one of those movies that's like that shows off Hollywood's clear disdain for rural America. Not to say that incest doesn't happen in America, but I mean, like, certainly not more so than other areas of the world. I mean, I can't really criticize much either. I'm technically the product of it. My grandparents, my maternal grandparents, were second cousins, and as I understand it, second cousin marriage is reasonably common in England and has been for generations. Okay, so that's servicing people. They're no longer bitchy. A rating of R plus. I mean, that's not porn, but I mean, what passes for R plus in anime? Some like really violent anime out there isn't counted as R plus to my knowledge. Like the anime Another. R is usually like one step removed from just straight up like adult material. Like Deadpool 1 and 2 are rated R. And people were convinced that they would not succeed because they were rated R. But yeah, it's usually like a marker of saying this movie is not just violent, it's gory. Yeah, there is a reasonable possibility of seeing tits. Though it is, the rating system is, shall we say, inconsistent on a good day. I mean, PG 13. PG 13 was like, used to be considered like a death sentence for some movies out there. And now most things are like borderline PG 13. Okay, you're almost finished. Okay. That's a lot of money. I'm gonna pay you, pay you. Okay, well, I'm gonna suffer breaking that down because I'm gonna be adding to you. Yeah. As I said, the rating system is inconsistent on a good day. I didn't even know that The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly was a trilogy. I've heard the name before. I've never seen it. I want to say that's Westerns. Ah, okay. Man, it is hilarious to me. So there's been kind of like, I've noticed it kind of like a recent die-off of various actors in both like the regular acting scene and say like the Japanese seiyuu community. I've noticed. And I mention this because I'm like, passingly, I'm like, wait, is Clint Eastwood dead? So I look him up and I'm like, oh shit, he's still very much alive. 95 years old, but still alive. Meanwhile, some bitches feel like dies at 50. It's like, what did you do? You were a Hollywood socialite. You had money. The answer, probably drugs. And here's me. My addictions are simple and not soul destroying. Yeah. The thing about books is, while you certainly can reread a book, it's not as good as the first time you read it. Though that has varying degrees of application. Like, I enjoy the Honor Harrington series, but the Honor Harrington series in audiobook will sometimes be a little bit, I'd say even in written form, is sometimes a little bit hard to follow because, like, shit you not, in the first novel, during the climax of the book, it took like 5 pages or more out of itself. I'm guesstimating because I was listening to it in audiobook. Out of the drama to basically explain the functionality of the spacefaring technology. In the Honor Harrington setting, all spacefaring technology is contingent on what are known as impeller technology. What are known as alpha nodes, beta nodes, and things like that, which basically create a localized field of gravity. And the gist behind that is that it pulls or pushes the naval vessel forward. And in addition to this, they have what are known as Warshawski sails, which are essentially stabilizers for riding gravitational bands in hyperspace. This is how humanity began charting the stars, because hyperspace hyperspace is interesting, where like distance traveled there is magnitudes larger in real space. So 5 feet could be 500 feet in hyper, or like out of hyper. Now, all of this matters because this technology, just baseline, creates something known as an impeller wedge. It's just a field of gravitational disturbance around your ship that, if it impinges on another ship's wedge, will catastrophically blow apart your alpha and beta nodes. And that may not necessarily explode your ship, but it will fuck you up. So ships arrange themselves with great distances around themselves, and And since this field also acts as like a secondary form of armament, it's just counted as like armoring for shooting missiles at each other. So all missiles are done in the form of what are known as bomb pump lasers. And the general gist behind that is fissionable material is activated like a nuke, and the photonic energy that that emits when it goes off is essentially directed through like a colander, if you will, like a series of like scatterings that will basically blast like a shotgun of this stuff into whatever it's aimed at. So this is all to explain why all the technology works the way it does and forms an age of sail sort of thing. But the problem is that this also still means that there is room for other armaments that bypass this. And a major like issue in the first novel is that the main character is given a ship that was gutted for all of its armaments and armor just to have something known as the Grab Lance on it, which is a powerful weapon at basically knife point range. So this is all like explained to you right before she basically blasts a dude in a Q ship with this. And I remember at the time not totally understanding any of this and being like, hey, Bo, what does this mean? And he linked me up with a space dock fucking episode on the subject. I'm like, oh, okay, that explains everything. But it also helps that like further rereads had me basically understanding the material better. Bring me the fat dicky meat. Oh, that's a bunch of people. Ah. Spit down the wrong pipe. What a glorious experience. Yeah, sure. Let's promote some villagers. I like when the characters have the ability to use fire and they use for the casual uses. Like, I added a character to my setting who is human dragon. She enjoys using her fire for casual shit and gets disappointed when she doesn't get to use it. So, like lighting a fire in the fireplace or lighting a cigarette or something like that. Because I dig that sort of utility magic use. Okay, you fat fucking whores. You've had your fucking chance to not walk over my fields. That field is absolutely not too large. And you know it. Too large, too large. Shut up. Next week I can go to run through some UC Gundam like Dozen Island, MS Igloo, and Stardust Memory. Yeah, we never watched Dozen Island on on this Discord. We did watch MS Igloo and Stardust Memory. I swear Stardust Memory is what happens when it's the main character who's the cuckolding victim. And the thing cuckolding him is just life in general. Because Jesus Christ. Like, there's a lot to love about Stardust Memory, and it's easily one of Bo's favorites. Yeah, I enjoyed it, but god damn, that main character just suffers constantly. And I won't say how or why, only that you're just going to get to the end of it and hate a bunch of people.
Remember the most important things about UC Gundam: getting cucked causes wars, and beware the space cougars on God.
That's the one with Millie's favorite space cougar. The fuck? Oh. No wonder they were like, it's too big. Also sell meat. Origin's pretty good. I will say I'm a bit of a sucker for the like newer, more polished art styles. Some of the early Gundam has like a rough art style or like a really like dated art style I don't really care for. Like I enjoyed Victory, but damn was the art style rough and the writing rougher. Winners Forever still slaps as an outro. Yeah. Which is funny because, like, you know, it's older than, say, like 0079, which, you know, was which the art style barely differentiates for between 0079 and fucking Speed Racer at times. Like, you could basically put Speed Racer and fucking Amuro Ray beside each other and be like, these two characters are the same. Yeah. Zeta Gundam's actually kind of wild because, like, in general, the animation and the art models are genuinely good. But also, it's kind of hilarious how there will be just these like odd and eccentric moments where the animation budget decides to like be absurd. And I don't mean in a bad way. I mean like those moments, like the one where fucking Camille proceeds to punch Quattro Vagina across the room with his sunglasses flying off as he does that. And this is just like animated out the ass. Yeah, whether they're really animated. And like, there's lots of sequences in that anime where things are just really animated to the point of feeling mimetic. And fucking Camille's dialogue at times just feels like a meme in and of itself. Like he'll be like, you can't hold me accountable. I'm an autistic child. It's like, what are you talking about? Shut up. Camille gets so much shit and it's so justified most of the time. Like, people are constantly chasing around me like, Camille, Camille, Camille. It's honestly kind of bizarre because like Double Zeta follows right after Zeta Gundam, and it's a marked downgrade in terms of animation quality. Though I will not say it is a bad series, because that one's fun. I'll also say that's a good question. What was happening with him during that time? I want to say he became a doctor. He got it. Okay, so like after Double Zeta, he gets his mind back proper. Like he spends the better part of Double Zeta like fucked, but he starts showing improvement in the like rare times that he's on screen. And I want to say he's seen at the end of Double Zeta running across along the beach with oh fuck, his girlfriend, the one with the Asian name, the one who escaped me. But I want to say she featured in Double Zeta quite a bit. And, couldn't be happier for him. He eventually becomes a doctor, if memory serves. And I want to say at one point, somebody tried to enter a room with him, and they had, like, latent new type abilities, and he, like, just his presence alone was intense, because he's just such a powerful new type. I'm not using that for anything right now, so yeah, invest. Okay. Yeah, if memory serves, Chidao, takes part in the extrasolar colonization missions. He basically says fuck it to all the conflict and decides to leave, the area of Earth entirely, and is like involved in the colonization missions for that. There's a lot of background material when it comes to UC. Okay, I need to start expanding a little bit more, but my money is starting to increase. My territory upkeep is currently 30-ish. Blue Destiny. Oh, it's a Sega Saturn story set during the 1 Year War. That's a really ancient choice for adaptations you want to see there, Chanka. That game predates you. It's a 1 Year War story about a Gundam that can replicate new type powers, but it fucking kills the pilot. Damn. Damn. That's pretty busted, but also fucked up. Also, can I recommend you Bokurano? Which is like Gundam meets Madoka Magica. Huh. So it's kind of like the stuff with the Fennecs in narrative. It's interesting how a lot of the stuff that occurs later on was like employed in the story in some ways earlier on. Like I mentioned many times to Bo, while I like the character Minerva Zabi, I feel like her whole hidden princess story is poorly applied to her. Because while she is a hidden princess, Salem Mass, being a legitimate Daikun over there, was always a better choice. What's your bitch ass sad about? I've got plenty of rustic food. You've got bread. Lots of bread, you stupid whore. There you go. You've got your rustic food. Why are you sad? There's rustic food right there. Rustic food bending tribe. There's rustic food all around you. Fucking eat it. Eat your food. I'm gonna take this chip and eat it. All these serfs know is hot chip, fat tits, and lie. Right, Bocarano. So Bocarano is basically like, I'd say it's closer to if Evangelion and fucking Madoka Magica had a baby. Because the general gist of it is, actually, it's a little bit between that and the whole like early impetus of Digimon Adventure 1. So basically, a bunch of kids are at a summer day camp and a giant mecha appears in the lake. And a dude walks up to them and is like, "Hey kids, want to pilot a mecha?" And they were like, "Do I?" And then they pilot it. And then they get involved in a horrible like knockout, drag out fight with another mecha in the local city that kills people. And then as soon as the fight's over, the cockpit opens up and one of their friends falls out dead. And that's how they find out that Bocarano is powered by the life force of the pilot. And also, they're fighting to preserve the existence of our reality, because that mecha that they just fought was another person competing in this, and all realities that they're from are contingent on this. So it's an entire storyline about a bunch of preteens navigating their own sordid backstories as they come to terms with the fact that they're going to die. And there's nothing they can do to stop it. Otherwise, all reality ends. And also, the intro song is a fucking banger, but the lyrics are literally about taking your own life. That one meme, you mean the one where the song's like really good, but then you're like, oh, the lyrics. Yeah, so the song's literally called Uninstall. And the lyrics are basically about being a brave soldier and just uninstalling. So yeah, it genuinely is basically like that. I wouldn't say upbeat theme though. It's just, it really is a fucking good song. It's an anime about preteens addressing their tragic anime backstories with like their days numbered. Yes, it's terrible. Sad. Like one of the characters his sister is one of the would-be pilots, and he allegedly hates her because of their abusive family and shit like that. And he saved her life in the end, but yeah, the to be watched, but I'm going to need to recover afterwards. Yeah. Your Lie in April should go on that one. That's the one that's all about classical music and childhood trauma. It's a genuinely good anime, and the music is genuinely beautiful, and the way it goes about showing off a lot of this stuff is actually pretty well done. It uses CGI for like the piano playing sequences, but it's like genuinely like a here's how we're going to show the hands moving around on the keyboard and whatnot.